Most coaches and service providers have heard of UTMs. Far fewer know what they're actually for. UTMs get mentioned constantly in marketing circles and masterminds, but no one explains what they are or how to use them effectively, which means you're either ignoring them entirely or setting them up without understanding what they're supposed to tell you. If someone told you to use them and left it there, this is the video that should have come with that advice, including what happened when one of my clients finally found out what their $15,000 in ads had actually been doing for their business. I'm Ashley Clayton, Marketing Ecosystem Strategist, and I help coaches and service providers like you understand their marketing data without becoming a data analyst. And UTMs are one of the first tools that I reach for to make that possible. In this video, I'm going to explain what UTMs are and how to use them, the way it should have been explained to you the first time, including someone mentioned them. And I will include what it stands for, so we're not just sitting here in alphabet soup, because I don't like it as much as you don't. But by the end, you will actually know what a UTM is, what the three core parameters that you need are. Parameters or tags are the same thing, so you may hear both terms, and how to build your first link. You'll also start to see which of your marketing channels are actually sending you leads, and it may not be the one that you're spending the most time on. I also have a free email course called Metrics That Talk Back that goes deeper into what to do with the data once you're tracking it. The link's in the description and you can grab it now or come back at the end. Either way, it's going to be there. A UTM is a tag that you add to the end of a URL before you share it. Let me show you what I mean. This is a regular link. And then this is a link with the UTM tags or parameters on there. Everything after this question mark, so instead of knowing that someone just visited your website, you'll also know that they came from Instagram through an organic post or from a specific campaign. Instead of guessing which channel sent you the leads last quarter, you can just look it up like I can. For example, because I have things UTM'd and I have built this dashboard for myself, I know that in the last year, most of my, I've had, 73 people come to me from my organic efforts, and that can be through search or social. With the way I tag, I can see which campaigns actually come through to see, okay, well, my brand awareness is actually doing what it's supposed to and bringing me people and helping them be more aware of my brand, as well as, my workshop that gets promoted and different things. The real powerful thing is when you can connect them to where your leads are. So it's not just, well, where's my traffic coming from? That's good to know. But what I care about is, where are my leads coming from? And I'll do a deeper dive on this in a separate video, but I wanted to bring this up to show you what the UTMs enable you to know. And so going back to this, there's really three parameters that you need to know about and that Google analysts in the reporting out of the box. And the order that you put them on the link does not matter as long as the three tags are present. That's the core thing. So what do these three actually do? What do they mean? How do you use them? UTM campaign is going to be what you're promoting. This is where a lot of people actually use it wrong because, as I mentioned, Google's documentation, it's really written for paid advertising. So the assumption baked into all of it is that the campaign needs to really pertain to what the ad set is and all of that information. It's the same name that you use for your ad campaign in the ads platform. Same thing can apply to Meta. UTM source is where the traffic came from. So that's going to be YouTube, Instagram. It can be your email, a podcast interview if you have a special link that you get that podcast that can be tagged, a speaking engagement. They can be hidden behind QR codes. Let me know if you want me to do a deep dive on all the ways you can leverage them, and I will happily do that. Just let me know in the comments below. But the core is that source names the place or the platform where it happened. So in this case, in this example, the campaign is brand reach. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting my brand out there, and this is how I have named and chosen the campaign for my brand reach. The source is this particular link is going to live on YouTube. So I want to know, I'm putting effort into YouTube. How is YouTube reciprocating or making sure that it's sending me the right people? That's where having the where did my leads come from piece of it really mattering. And then the last one is going to be UTM medium. This I treat more as like, what is the type of marketing effort or the channel? So for me, that's going to be organic. You can use social if you want to specifically split out social traffic. There is paid referral traffic. This is how affiliates work as well. Again, I'll do a deeper dive on that because it really does merit its own video, since this is just kind of letting you know what these are. And what this is again, the medium ties back to the marketing tactics, to the results that you're getting. So you can compare the types of traffic, not just individual platform performance. So to tie this back to an example, if I'm looking at the campaign name that I've got here is my metrics that talk back. And so naturally I want to know of, okay, is Threads bringing me more of those leads? Is YouTube, or is this something that I'm really better off talking about a lot in my email list, or just in, my kit broadcasts or things like that? So that's where these three work together. So that way I know where I might want to focus my effort by looking at, okay, this is what it is. Good. I don't necessarily care much about how many sessions. Engagement rate might be useful if it wasn't all, 100, which, 100's good because that means people coming are engaged there. But I can also see that, events that I marked as key events, which one of them is generate lead, that most of my leads are actually coming from either somebody opting into this freebie directly from my email list where I've promoted it to people that may not have seen it yet, as well as Threads. So that tells me that I may want to go spend more time on Threads promoting things. So all of this is kind of bring around a core concept in marketing that we call attribution, which is really just a term for giving credit to the marketing effort or the platform that you're on for bringing you the lead or sale. The credit in this instance is Threads is getting credited for bringing me 4 of my leads so far this year. And so my approach to this is higher level than Google's, where it's just a single channel thing. The way I recommend using campaign is you want the same thing. So for my metrics that talk back, it's the same campaign, regardless of if it's a specific link on Threads, a specific link on YouTube, or a specific link in my email. Everything is pointing to the same campaign. That makes it really easy to understand how all of those efforts are working together in order to bring me the results. And so, bringing it back here, and to recap, I use the campaign for whatever I'm promoting, my articles, a specific offer or journey, like I just showed you with my metrics that talk back, and everything driving toward that specific thing gets the same campaign name. Paid traffic, organic posts, email, speaking gigs, same campaign name all across all of it. And that's really what makes it useful as a comparison filter. And source and medium become the data points that you use when you want to dig deeper and when you want to see where the campaign is actually getting traction. So in the example I shared, Threads is clearly where it's gotten more traction, as well as kind of getting it back in front of my email list as well, for people that might either want to go through it again or haven't seen it. The core thing is, put all 3 of those together, like we just saw for my metrics that talk back mini course. And if you click the link in the description that's in this video, you may not see all those parameters. I'm using a link shortener and a program that keeps these things straight. But when you click that link, if you look in the web address area that's up here, you can see, heck, you can even see Canva doing the same thing, where it's UTM content, UTM campaign, design share, medium is a link, the source is a unique link, and then that's something special that they've got. But even Canva uses UTM, so they know how people are finding this design. Once you start to see these things, you can't unsee them in the URLs. So I encourage you to kind of, as you click on links, go look and explore and see, are they tagged? How are they being tagged? Because there's no one way to do this. And before you go build yours, I do want to give you a couple of things to keep in mind. Capitalization matters. Capital F Facebook and lowercase Facebook, and even if you just abbreviate it FB, UTMs are going to track those as 3 separate things instead of one. And you also want to use dashes between words, not underscores or spaces, because it will break the tracking. You can see an example of that here where I have done brand dash reach instead of brand space reach or brand underscore reach. Pick what you want to abbreviate. Like I could do YouTube as YT, or I could do it as just YouTube, how I've got it here. Pick one, stick with it. But I want to know, what are you promoting right now and which channels are you using to push it? Go ahead and drop it in the comments, but I do want to say, don't put any actual links to your thing because it will get flagged as spam. Just tell me the details, like the name and where you're promoting it, and I will reply back and tell you how I would recommend UTMing it if you just want to have an example for you. UTMs don't require Google Analytics to work. If you're using an email platform like Kit or MailerLite, those tools will pick up UTM data automatically when someone clicks a tagged link on one of their hosted landing pages. And you can see exactly which campaign, source, and medium brought someone to your list without Google Analytics ever being part of the picture. You also have client relationship management systems, or CRMs, that are a slightly different conversation. If you're using a dedicated CRM tool like HubSpot, Dubsado, etc., check with them directly to see if they handle UTM data automatically, because some don't, and some may not take, if you go into the expanded tags, those tags. Or if you're like me and built your CRM inside a tool like Airtable or Notion, there is additional setup that you need to do within that. The data is not going to just flow in on its own, and so you'll need automations to help connect those dots. And so it's really worth knowing before you assume that your tech stack, or, in other words, the software that you use to run and market your business, is going to do something that it isn't. And you don't have to have your UTMs in your CRM out of the gate, but it is a great to have flag for something down the road if you're just getting started with these. The core right now is get started if you're not. If you do have Google Analytics, it's already classifying some of your traffic automatically, like organic search, direct, some social, but it's going to do it on its own terms. And UTMs are how you override where Google's natively going to group things. Your quickest win will be knowing that Google Analytics doesn't tag your email traffic automatically. So if you're sending emails without UTM tagged links, that traffic is likely showing up as direct because of Google Analytics default handling of untagged URLs. It's like, I don't know how to give somebody credit for this, so we're just going to say they came directly to the site. And when you use UTMs, you take control of that. You decide what gets credit and how you want your traffic to get grouped. And the campaign level connections are something that you're never going to get out of Google Analytics if you don't put campaigns on your links. The 3 core tags that I covered today are the ones that do by default come into Google Analytics, so you won't have to do any additional setup to make them work. But I want to share a real world example of what UTM'd visibility makes possible. So I had a local print shop client who spent $15,000 on videos and local TV ad spots in order to generate more leads for their business. Because we already had the measurement in place, they had hired me to put that in place for them before they launched any of this. We could see how those ads were doing as they were happening, and even how they behave, how the people that found them on those ads behave further down the road. And what we found is that those spots brought in less traffic than their previously lowest performing channel. And looking at the behavior at the time, none of those visitors actually converted into leads. And so meanwhile, over half their leads were coming from organic search, which was doing the heavy lifting job consistently the whole time, and still consistently is one of their highest lead generating channels. And the point I want you to take from this is that you don't have to be spending $15,000 for this to matter. It is just as relevant before you spend your first $100 in ad spend, or if you never spend in ads at all because you're still investing your time in marketing and your energy on platforms as well. So, knowing which areas of your business are actually producing results and how you're getting results before you commit that budget is ultimately what a measurement system makes possible. And UTMs are how you get that picture so your investments follow what's working instead of what's making the ad platforms rich while you figure it out. The easiest place to kind of bring it back for something for you to take away from this is to start with your email. That is the easiest place you can start, and it's going to give you the most leverage. So if you're using Kit, you can set up saved UTM links and reuse them in your emails very easily. I think MailerLite has something similar. You can always check with your platform. But even if you don't use the Kit setup, all you need is the minimal 3 tags. And again, I'm going to pull up the visual here so that way you can kind of get them back in your mind. So before you go build your first link, there are 2 things worth knowing. They're for what's called an external link only. So an external link is anything you're sharing outside your own website domain. So for me, I'm sharing a link to my site on YouTube. YouTube is external to my website. And so that is why I will UTM a link on that I'm sharing on YouTube, but I'm not sharing a link from I'm not going to UTM a link on my about page. The other thing to note is also that some platforms, notoriously Facebook, will occasionally strip or knock off those tagging parameters from your links. And so there are workarounds to that, and that will also be another video. The reason why I'm telling you this is that getting started right now is the important part, but there's still more to learn. All I want you to know right now is that it happens, it's fixable, and spoiler, use a link shortener. That's really ultimately the workaround. And I cover those more in detail in my social media UTM and tracking video. But I don't want that to be a reason for you to hold off on starting tagging now. Imperfect tagging can be fixed. Traffic that happened before you started can't be recovered. Some data is always better than none, and your imperfect system beats letting Google decide how to classify your traffic for you. So start where you are, tag one link, see what comes back. And now that you know how to tag your links, the next question is what to do with the data once it starts coming in. And that's what my Metrics That Talk Back is built for. It's a free email course that walks you through the 5 categories of marketing data that actually matter to your business and explains what they are without the marketing jargon. The first place your UTM data is going to show up in the attraction layer, and there's a whole email in this email course series that is dedicated to the difference between visibility and traction. And that's where this starts letting you listen into your audience as half of the marketing conversation that you already have going on. The link's going to be in the description for that. And if you want to see how to put UTMs to work, tracking where your leads actually come from, that's going to be the next video in this series. And if this was useful, please subscribe because there's a lot more coming to this. And I really don't want you to miss it because knowing how you're getting your leads and clients is one of the most critical things that you can know as a business owner.